All right, my goal for this tutorial is to show you how to take the images you've captured for your stop motion video project and how to get them into, first of all, your Final Cut project and then retime them. There's a few keyboard shortcuts that I'll hope to explain as we get rolling here. So the first one is, let's find our usable media. In this case, I want to use the 43 photographs that I took back on June 22nd. In this case, I'm going to select that first file and then hit Command A, which is going to select all 43 for Command A for select all. And I'm going to drag the first file down here, or actually select all files and bring them down. And then take a look at this pop-up that you're presented with. In our case, we're going to leave this at a full HD video, so it's 1080p, 1920 by 1080 resolution. And the last option, we're going to change to 2997, which is what we typically edit at in all of our video projects for class. Now, once that is done, all of the photos will be visible at the bottom or in your project window. And just resize this a little bit. And each of the photos will play for 10 seconds by default. That is the Final Cut Pro default for how long a still image will show up in your timeline when you first drag it there. So each of these clips is 10 seconds long. Obviously, that blows the illusion of a stop motion because it takes too long for the photos to change. And in this example that I'm using, it actually should appear as though that the young lady on the right-hand side is flying down the hallway if played back at an appropriate speed, as she's jumping and the photos are all taken while she's in the air. So to retime this, the first thing I'm going to do is hit Control D, and the first thing you notice is that the center of the screen, the playhead or the timing window is blue, so it's looking for data. In this case, I'm going to trim everything down to 5 frames long. And what you notice is each of my photos, instead of being 10 minutes long, is now 5 frames long. A drastic retiming of this project. So in order for me to zoom back in on this, I'm going to hit Shift Z. And Shift Z will stretch whatever the amount of media you have in your project, and it will try to fill up the bottom of your project window or the visible portion of your project window. That also changes if you have one of these other tabs open. So for instance, if I have transitions available and I hit Shift Z, it will scale it down so that way all of it is visible in the available window space. So again, if I create more space and hit Shift Z, it'll stretch it out to the best, well, scale it out to the best of its ability. Now, each of these photos, now that I've zoomed in, you can see play much more quickly. Each one is only on the screen for 5 frames. In this case, that's 1/6 of a second, because that's 1/6 of, well, 5/30ths of a second is 1/6 of a second. And you can see that there's a little bit of jerkiness going on in the clip because of how long each photo is visible. But from here, you can now begin to edit. If you want something to play more quickly, you can obviously speed up or shorten the length of each clip. Or if you want it to play or show a little longer, you change the duration a little bit longer. But the process repeats itself. So if I wanted to take just a small range in the middle portion of this short clip that I have as an example, again, select it, hit Control D, and change the duration of each of those clips. So I could speed it up so that way each image is only on screen for 2 frames, or 1/15th of a second. So in that case, when it's sped up, she appears to be flapping her arms and flying down the hallway, as opposed to the rest of this clip where it's much slower and jerkier and kind of blows the illusion. So it's really up to you in the case of the stop motion to play around with how long everything is showing, retime it appropriately, and hopefully